out as a symbol of communist power. Folks, I'm not joking. Yeah, that's real. They also received intel brief that Antifa and related groups are planning for a takeover of part of Austin, like Chop Chaz, in Seattle, and then it would happen as early as this weekend. So they're going to try to take over in front of the police station this weekend. They're calling for additional manpower from APD to be ready, but no word so far the PD will be allowed to act to prevent the takeover. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're into hour number 2 on this July 29th, Wednesday, global transmission, 96 days out from the election. Okay, we have a rival globalist corporate Chi-Com EU Hollywood gang that sees America as an open, weak civilization, that they've taught us to hate ourselves and they've got us into debt. They think now's the time to make their move. Well, they thought their move was in 2016 with Hillary, and then that didn't go the way they thought it would. Because there wasn't resistance to them until they actually sank their teeth into us, and they'd always thought that we were going along with them because we were scared and intimidated. We were actually just decadent and sleeping in the Odin sleep. But as soon as they sank their crocodile teeth into our legs, crocodile found we grabbed it by the tail and started whipping its head into the ground. But the stinking hole that is Satan's womb always produces more crocodiles, doesn't it? So we may have beat the brains out of a few, but there's always more that come waddling down the path that have to be dealt with. Because the universe is full of a lot of stuff. Not just good things. The bad is there to test us so we understand God's plan. And so we got some crocodiles to kill. Politically. A loving one. Not a violent way. So we have these shows that are in the middle of the zeitgeist. And this is the most insane ever. And again, it's not a form of choking. It's a form of being overwhelmed. I mean, in front of me, I have 5 different mega stories that each one, if someone could grasp it, would give them the keys to understanding all the other stories. Because within a lie is the truth. If you know the enemy's lying, and you know what they're scared of, and you know where they're trying to steer you, then you know which way you should really go. Like the North Star for pilots going back thousands of years ago on ships and cross-country hunts and nomadic groups, because it's always there at that same fixed spot, and you can then set your trajectory according to that. But see, deception, like a comet, leaves a tail, a tell. And so everything they attack, we know is good. Everything they push on us, we know is bad. And so for someone that is awake, and who's decided to actually open themselves up to the universe, all of it is code. Like Neo in the Matrix, he can see the code. Other people can't see the code. They're slaves to the code. And there are some that see some of the code, but they decide to use the code to enslave others and pretend they are the grand architect of the Matrix or the false paradigm, Satan pretending to be God. Like a little 3-year-old pretending he's the bulldozer driver. Or he's the superhero. He's the space captain. They're pretending. They're LARPing. They didn't do the work for 100 generations. They didn't patiently wait take people that aren't informed and you use that against them, that is God's #1 rule that you don't break. Imagine if somebody took a Down syndrome 5-year-old and laughed at him and beat him up and tripped him and pushed him into the water and said, look, you're stupid. That would make you mad because you're made by God. That pisses you off. But on Dutch TV, they have Down syndrome people on there, and they tell them you're worthless and you're crap, and they cry on TV, and all these people laugh at them. That is a satanic ritual.
Clear.
We're entering a zeitgeist right now. The next 96 days and beyond. The next 96 days is just marching towards that gate, that door. And I want you to know this. All the attempts to suppress you and to suppress us and to do this is because the enemy knows we are transcending right now. This is the beginning of us taking the stairway towards the next level of interfacing with the Creator. And everything they've done trying to suppress that and to try to manipulate that is going to fail, and they're going to lose control. So take heart when you see incredible tyranny and forced inoculations and riots and death, because it's all symbols of the evil ones losing power and trying to make us bow down to them. So I brought these beautiful, crafted articles of precision made by us who are made in the image of God. A symbol of our will. A woman and a man having a child loving each other is 1,000,000,000 times better than these guns. But because the enemy worships machines and their little technological terrors, to quote Darth Vader, we show you these. Now, could you use one of these? No, not if you don't know how to use them. But since Antifa is planning their terror attacks nationwide that I'll announce bottom of the hour, I'm going to get to it then. And because of all this happening, I thought I would just show them what they hate. The symbol of humanity defending itself and being able to forge devices to make us be able to overcome enemies that are physically way more powerful than us or outnumber us. But it's bigger than that, isn't it? It is the symbol of private individuals who have arms that is the true mark of a free society and a free civilization. We had a rally with 20 to 40,000 people, depending on what numbers you look at in Virginia. No one had problems. There was no crime. There was nothing that went on. One leftist started a fight, got arrested. One arrest. And there were 40,000 people armed to the teeth of every race, color, and creed, all humans. And that's what scared the enemy. And so, welcome to America. Welcome to America, where I've got high-rated armored vehicles. I've got high-rated 50 caliber rifles. But that's not my real power. Did you know with my bare hands I can take any weapon I want? Because with the will of righteousness, I can break any man's neck I wish. But only in the service of God. Because the power in me is greater than he that is in the world. When I wage war to defeat Satan, I cannot be resisted even if I'm destroyed. And that's what they have to understand. I don't need these weapons. I have information, I have the Spirit, and I can take any weapon I want anytime. I can seize your nuclear weapons. I can seize your reactors. I can break your neck. Know that, leftist. You don't have power. You know, those of us who love Christ, we have the power. I have a lot of news to cover, a lot of things to get into, but I'm not building suspense here, holding up, covering this news. I feel like we should have like drum rolls or spotlights above the office at night to announce stuff like this, because that's a globalist tactic, is that they get so much chatter, so much disinfo, so much stuff going on that when you actually bring out the huge information, it just fizzles out there. Like it doesn't matter. And again, I know from deep research and having incredible sources and experiencing it myself exactly what's going on. I mean, I know more about this topic than anybody.
Ja.
And I'm not saying that from a position of a power
Kanske la
trip.
personne sait qu'elle a rendu peu
I can't tell you the stuff that's going on for reasons that you can probably imagine. I told you years ago they're preparing a Maoist program to overthrow the United States. People are like, that's ridiculous. Now you see it's all over the news. It's not even Chinese run, it's Chinese backed, but it's a Maoist youth brigade program. And they really plan it. And we've confirmed that in D.C. and Portland and Maryland, and just everywhere, they've got explosives and weapons and trucks loaded with ammonium nitrate and just chlorine gas, everything. And they're really going to go out and just burn everything down and just slaughter people. And they're going to try to kill governors. They're going to kill police chiefs. They're going to kill talk show hosts. And I mean, they're going to people's houses. I mean, I told you this. See, here's the thing. I'm always so far ahead. And I'm not bragging about that. We knew they were releasing the targets. We had surveillance cameras. We confirmed it a year and a half ago. And so I, stationed retired military, at my house for a while. Because they were thinking about this during the midterm election 2018. And so believe me, I'm not going to pay money for 24-hour surveillance at my house and, guys with guns if it's not for a real reason.
Oh, well.
And now here we are a year and a half later.
It's bus. It's grave.
And the police departments know about this. These Antifa people go to bars, and they go to events where informants are, and they talk about, we're going to go to this house, we're going to murder this judge, we're going to go to this house, we're going to kill this police chief, we're going to go to this house, we're going to kill this talk show host. And the New York Times puts out where people live, and the cops go back and they go, let's arrest this person immediately for conspiracy, for terrorism, and they go, nope, you're not going to do it. And we should think about every angle of this and why they're doing this. And not get sucked in and jump at first. Because, these people are like dog crap. Who wants to step on them unless we have to? I want to talk about who's ordering this and who's doing this. And the fact that the Pentagon needs to stop being scared of this, needs to join with America, and needs to deal with the people running the operation. Because I know as a romantic, you want to have the war with the Antifa and, all this. Let's not do that. Let's not do it. I knew we needed an armored vehicle coming up during the election cycle to go cover events. And people are like, oh, you don't need that. Now you've seen them attack the vehicle. I want to avoid confrontation. I don't need to put that on my belt. I don't even want to kill these globalists. But if they want to kill us, the best thing to do in a defensive way is kill as many of them as quickly as possible. Again, the media will misquote that. I don't want to offensively kill anybody, but I'm not going to take this, okay? And I just want everybody like Santa Claus to take down names while we're here, 90-something days out, and just think about the future. If they take down your country, they destroy your bank account, they murder a bunch of patriot leaders, what are you going to do? Because you always talked about when the New World Order came in and when the UN did this, you were going to go out and shoot folks in blue helmets. They don't wear blue helmets. They show up in black uniforms and burn down your local courthouse and overthrow your government and run your life. And once they get control of your police, those officers are programmed robots now. They'll follow orders to come after you. And I don't sycophantically worship the police. I just tell folks, don't have a civil war with the cops. Even if they're captured and cowards and bad people, some of them. You have it with the academics and the establishment perverts and pedophiles that run it. If you're running a war, do that to us. I'm not calling for any violence. I'm simply saying we're entering a new ball game that I tried to stop, that you tried to stop, and I don't intend to lose. And winning doesn't mean Alex Jones goes into the future. I don't say that to act tough. As men, we have to decide we're dead already. It's easy. You'll never be freer to the point you're ready to die. Just get over it. It's not a big deal.
Alright, it's niezłe.
But the enemy is not the loser meth head playing video games that is told by the media and given $100 a day to go out and do this. They're not the target. You do nothing killing them. And I don't want you to kill anybody right now. But I want you to understand where they've taken us and what they've done, and that every single globalist New World Order operative at an executive level is an enemy combatant of humanity. And once they pull the trigger, which they're beginning to, we're basically in it. They don't want us to recognize they pull the trigger till the bullet hits us. They've already done it. But now's not the time. You'll know the time. You'll know the time. And this is the real world. This isn't about games. This isn't about protecting yourself. This is about who are you as a man? Who are you as a woman? And what I'm saying here today will send shivers up the spine of the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and back down. And that's good. And they might move against me this week. That's okay too. Because there's purity in the universe. There's commitment in the universe. And those of us that love God have to stop sitting back and letting other cowards dictate our lives and hope some magic person comes down and fixes it for us. No. Everything we have, when you're out on your motorboat looking at the sky or in a nice house and got a job and got a bank account that works, some man died for that. Some woman lost her husband for that. Daddy didn't come home for that. Millions died. And millions starved. And millions were put in prisons. And millions were tortured for human liberty. And you stand on their shoulders. You will repay it. You will complete the circuit. You will. And by the way, you will find ecstasy in the moment that you stop being a coward. In the moment you stop caring what people think or what they do to you. In the moment that you join your ancestors, a bridge to the past, the present, and just like that, to the future. And then the doors of perception open, God's there, the doors swing open, there's no more fear, and now you're with God forever. That's where we are. Stay with us. So, if you just tuned in, you're watching on TV, you're listening on radio, I've got semi-automatic 301 mags, semi-automatic 338 LaPuas, semi-automatic Army Marine Corps, 50 cal Barretts, Navy 50 cal Barretts, German MP5s, Turkish MP5s, British SIGs. We've got it all. But this isn't any of our power. Our power is spiritual. Our power is political. Our power is by action. I can have all these guns in minutes if I want them. All I need is a knife. I can take them. Because I know how to use them. And that's where knowledge comes in. It's not the tool. It's the knowledge. How do you use a hammer or a jackhammer? Or how do you use a laser pointer? How do you use a rangefinder if you don't know how to use it? All right, let me lay out the big news here. The mayor of Austin has come out and says, let's just ban the Second Amendment and take the guns. You know, we've got Antifa out running up people's cars, pointing guns at them, they get shot dead. The answer is take the guns. And you've got the left burning down police stations and burning down buildings and killing people and shooting people at checkpoints, and we're told that's all okay. What's really happening? You've got criminals in the federal government. We don't control the federal government. It's good and bad. We have the blue cities, the blue states fully under CHICOM control. And they're trying to foment civil unrest ahead of the election, in their own words, to claim it's Trump's fault, to remove him from office claiming he's a dictator, when they challenge the election results. And then if he challenges their fraudulent challenge, they're saying we're going to have the Pentagon arrest the president, and anybody that opposes that, including members of the cabinet, will be arrested. And then then Attorney General Barr, who's in the cabinet, shows up, and they won't let him talk. They won't let him go to the bathroom after 5.5 hours. They scream at him. They're crazy. But don't take their insanity as weakness. That's what makes them dangerous. So let me give you the big news. I've already seen my own 2 eyeballs that God gave me, and so have you. And I've listened to them with the 2 ears God gave me. Antifa shoot people and hammer women in the head and beat people thousands of times that we've seen all over the U.S. the last 5 years. And we know George Soros funds it through the different organizations. He's on record admitting that. We've got all the Bernie people saying we're going to burn down America. If Bernie doesn't win, we're going to burn down America. If Trump doesn't win. But now we have Atlantic Monthly and the New York Times coming out last week saying, if Trump wins, we'll burn down America. Now, I mean, you know, if I started talking about burning down America, I'd get arrested, and I should. But why are they allowed to do it? Because they work for the big banks. They work for the establishment. This is the man. They act like they're rebels doing all this. They're backed by the whole media. They're backed by the governors. They're backed by the blue states, the cities, where they get $500 fines every 15 minutes in Portland that there's a fence up around the federal courthouse while they're shooting it, firebombing it with Molotov cocktails and laser beaming people and shooting ball bearings at them. I mean, if I showed up at a federal courthouse and I pulled out a slingshot with a ball bearing, they'd shoot me. It's a deadly weapon. But, they don't, because they've been told you'll be indicted. So, you can see everything I'm about to say right there in front of your face. You can see the revolution being launched by foreign powers, the treason, the no borders, the no walls, the no USA at all. And I can show you a stack of internal documents from George Soros and Alexander Soros trying to pay black people to riot and burn things. Thousands of dollars a piece, I will show you. So they can make the revolution about race war and about black against white instead of it being about Chi-Com globalist against America. But I remember when Tucker Carlson a year and a half ago had people come to his house, break down his door, threaten to rape and kill his wife. I never told people what happened to us for different reasons and the things that have gone on here. No. Or the intel I learned about what was happening in other areas of the country. But now I'm going to lay it out for you. I have it from New York City, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, California, the CIA, federal marshals, the FBI, and finally today, the APD confirmed what I was told, but because I wasn't told it by people I absolutely knew, I did not tell you in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
That they have ridiculously named assault teams, A-teams, driving around in SUVs and trucks, Antifa, with 2 and 4 men's groups, preparing anyone that doesn't stop at a checkpoint, anyone that doesn't, including police, will be killed. And that's just the surface. The media will say that somebody killed them when they kill somebody else. That's what's so scary. So we have the whole big tech, the whole big media. We have officially being announced in the City Council of Austin that they're going to blow up the police department. I showed you that last hour. Officially in the budget. This isn't some recommendation. This is from the mayor. You go, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. This is a takeover. It's here. And I have the UN running the Strong Cities Initiative, and I have the United Nations orders U.S. to stop excessive force on peaceful Portland protesters in my stack. We'll cover when we come back. But bottom line, I say this because it needs to be said. It's the truth. And I say it for the idiots that are part of this, but they're so low IQ. They were never given attention. I have their MO. I've assessed them. That they're not going to listen, but people around them, their wives, their neighbors should listen. On average, it's a kid that was abused, usually white, heavy drug use, methamphetamine, Satanism, has a small brain, wasn't breastfed, grew up in a crib, no attention. They finally get a daddy that's going to take care of them. Just like the Mexican and black gangs went and got young kids that didn't have dads. Well, now the globalists are going to get the white kids that didn't have dads. And they're weaponizing them and giving them methamphetamine and guns and telling them go out and attack. And they're killing people. They're getting killed everywhere. But here's the secret. They're just the cover for the real hit teams, Chi-Com, MS-13, Democrat-hired, and mercenary groups that are preparing to kill certain key senators, members of Congress, members of the media, members of law enforcement. And it's confirmed. They're practicing engaging police, shutting down roads, attacking the Capitol, attacking the governor's mansion. And so the governor's so scared, he just rolled over and just said, I'm with you. I mean, that's you'd think that Abbott would be good. He actually just submitted to it. And so I'm gonna read you what I've been saying, some of the other things I have when we come back, but this is it. Because the communists, just like that guy, with his eyes all blown out, pure pupils out there that got killed this weekend, and also he said, they're wimps, they're gonna submit to us. Of course, it didn't happen. But that's the whole attitude. Our submission has summoned this. And why do the Chi-Coms and globalists care? They don't get hurt. They're just doing it because there's no repercussions. Multinational corporations have found and funded an army of mentally ill, drug-head, meth-head, white people mainly, to call themselves Antifa when they are fascist, and to call themselves Black Lives Matter when they work for Planned Parenthood that wants to kill black people. And they've turned all these little pathetic video game playing, I'm not saying you're bad at video games, but that's who they are.
Gosh.
Losers loose to go out and do all this. And now they've got them going to people's houses, marking targets, and driving the wrong way down roads and yelling at police. And the police know they're not backed by their mayors. So the police are bowing to this behavior, which then only encourages the idiot meth heads to carry out the next part of the operation. And the orders have come down. Prepare to assault, talk show host, patriot law enforcement, police chiefs, members of Congress, members of state legislatures, governors that don't roll over. And they are so empowered getting these orders from Soros and Obama and Hillary, they will go to federal courthouses and attack federal police armed with weapons with hammers and hatchets. Because they believe they're taking over. They believe they have the initiative. And that's why the great crime of Trump is blocking them burning down the courthouses or blocking burning down the police stations, because they're supposed to, as live-action role players, as LARPers, killed the guy that got killed this weekend in Austin, please. To go out and say no one's going to oppose us, to try to get all the other hood rats, black and white, old and young, all the other meth heads, to boil out of their holes and go out and do this. This is a coward's march, a coward's day, a coward's moon, because behind them are the MS-13, the Chi-Com operatives, and others that are actually going to go out and kill leadership of the Liberty Movement. And then there'll be Antifa who's blamed with it. Antifa gets orders via text message where they go, what they do. Let's come out in documents. I'll show you in a moment. They'll be sent to an event. They'll be there. House will blow up. They'll kill the inhabitants. Antifa will think they did it. They'll go off. Later they get the blame, whatever. It doesn't matter. They are the cover. So why did I pull all these firearms out for TV viewers? To tell listeners, to tell people that are high-value targets, you better get your guns ready. Yeah, in Oakland, they're now burning the county courthouse. That's peaceful. And again, it's the left and the judges on the left that's empowering this. And the judges are ruling for them, saying, burn us down, you're good. The cowardly leftist judges, the communists. the judicial activist seek,
Change à la fin en plus.
turning on their own quislings. So I've talked to a lot of sources, but a lot of this has come out. It's the reason I'm covering it now. And Antifa all over the country is preparing massive terror attacks against the American people. Killings, mass shootings, bombings, you name it. And they're on video saying they're going to do it. And so they just don't want there to be any local or federal response to this. So that once it really hits, and once they've gotten all their little minions empowered, believing they're not going to be challenged, and believing they're going to win, they can fully pull the trigger and do this. So we're 2 minutes to midnight. This is from my APD source, directly from the APD. Just spoke to APD source Monday evening. BLM and other anti-police group members were riding around downtown Austin in technicals, pickup trucks with 2 4-armed individuals with rifles in the back, stopping cars. You already have video of this. Counterflowing, going the wrong way on streets, just exercising, like ISIS does, control. APD reported on what was happening and wanted to intervene, but were told to stand down unless they started shooting. These trucks were stopping in the middle of the road, intimidating other motorists, etc. Rank and file. Cops were furious. They weren't allowed to act. I mean, imagine, just lawless vigilante communists. Also, same guy who was shot and killed had been at several other protests in front of APD headquarters with his AK and had stopped vehicles in the roadway on Frontage Road. APD cops reported he was doing that again and were told to stand down. Sources say the activity may very well have been caught on headquarters cameras, which is scheduled now the city council to be blown up as a symbol of communist power. Folks, I'm not joking. Yeah, that's real. They also received intel brief that Antifa and related groups were planning for a takeover of part of Austin, like Chop Chaz in Seattle, and that it would happen as early as this weekend. A takeover of part of Austin, like Chop Chaz in Seattle.
Laisse-moi passer!
The storm clouds here are very ominous in terms of the next presidential election. I think the president has a number of structural obstacles that are very real. I believe that if we had an honest election, that means an election in which only people who are legally eligible to vote voted, I don't believe there's much question the president would win. My problem is that I don't think that there will be an honest election at this point. And the posturing by the Democrats